For this video that I will be sharing to you is the most common question that I usually get when I'm discussing Japanese language. So what is JLPT and why is it important if you are a Japanese speaker? Konnichiwa minasan, Sheira tomoshimasu. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Sheila, creator of Koi's Real Deal. What is JLPT? That is commonly the question that I usually get when it comes to Japanese language. JLPT basically means Japanese Language Proficiency Test. Nihongo no Ryoko Shiken in Japanese. So, what is it? It has been offered by Japan Foundation. The JLPT have 5 levels of proficiency. N5, 4, 3, 2, and N1. And the easiest level is N5. Most difficult level was N1. So N5, by having this proficiency level to understand some basic Japanese, you are able to read and understand typical expression and sentences written in hiragana, katakana, and common kanji, around 100 kanji, which is basic kanji. You are able to listen and understand conversational topics regularly encountered in daily life and classroom situations. And you are able to pick up necessary information from short conversation by Japanese when they speak to you in a slowly manner. So by this level of proficiency, you are not yet comfortable talking with Japanese. For the N4, you now have the ability to understand basic Japanese. You are able to read and understand passages on familiar daily topics written in basic vocabulary in kanji. During this level of proficiency, there's no more furigana or hiragana above the kanji when you are reading the passage or during the reading section of the exam. For the listening part, for the N4, you are able to comprehend the conversation and encounter daily life provided that they are spoken slowly. By these two levels of JLPT, the N5 and also the N4, I wanted to highlight the way the Japanese is spoken, which is slowly. The natural Japanese really speaks fast, but only when they know that you will be able to understand them when they speak as fast as natural or native Japanese. Japanese can lower their level of Japanese language when talking to you if they know that you are not able to catch up in a deep understanding. For the entry level, which is the middle level, which means that you are having the ability to understand Japanese and that is used in everyday situation to a certain degree. You are able to read and understand written materials with specific contents concerning everyday topics. Having this entry level, I think, or I may say that you can now understand the news that you will be able to read or watch. In addition to that, you as an entry-level passer, you have the ability to read slightly difficult writings encountered in every situation. And also, of course, you will be able to understand those kanji or those things that you will be encountering. The N2 level, which I have now, is the level in where you have the ability to understand Japanese used in everyday situation in a variety of circumstances in high understanding. By saying this, you have that almost Japanese thinking and understanding. N1 being the highest level of proficiency means you have the ability to understand Japanese use in their everyday life and the variety of circumstances. You are able to read written materials with profound contents on various topics and follow their narrative as well as understand the intent of writers comprehensively. You are able to comprehend orally presented materials such as coherent conversation, news reports, lectures spoken at natural speed in a broad variety of settings, and is able to follow their ideas and comprehend their contents comprehensively. This level of proficiency source came from Japan Foundation. But yes, of course, this test cannot easily assess our proficiency by just having the test or by just having the higher level in this JLPT exam. I knew someone who is not a native Japanese speaker and do not have the JLPT certificate, but they are very good in speaking the language. They have the high position in this field. But here in the Philippines, we all know, even in Japan, if you have the higher JLPT proficiency level, you have the higher opportunity to have. So again, what is the purpose of JLPT? This JLPT is used to measure the proficiency level of a non-native speaker like us, or learners of a Japanese like me, and I definitely think like you who is watching this video. It is used by most companies and schools, especially in Japan, to determine our Japanese language and ability to speak the language and understand it. When you take the JLPT, you as a JLPT taker, you will be paying an amount for the level of the proficiency that you will be taking. But luckily, when I was a trainee and I was in a kumiai or the agency when I was working in Japan, once you pass the exam, they will return the money that you pay for the exam, and they will be giving you another reward for that exam. Nevertheless, this exam that has your name in the certificate help you boost more confidence in taking with the Japanese. Aside from having the reward money that I received when I was taking the Japanese language proficiency test when I was in Japan, aside from having the reward money, is that for my standpoint, this is for our future, for your future. If you want to stay in this field in where you are using the Japanese language for your career, it's definitely a good way to have a higher level of Japanese language. Anyone can take JLPT. If you are not a Japanese and want to be certified, you must definitely try it. There are no restriction on who can take the test as long as Japan Foundation in your country is offering the exam. Same here in the Philippines. We have twice a year, in July and in December, every first Sunday of the month. People of all ages and backgrounds are welcome to take JLPT. If you are in Japan, you as a test taker do need to understand and be able to follow instruction that will be given by proctors in Japanese only. No other language but Japanese only. But here in the Philippines, as I mentioned, I was a proctor way back December 2019. That was the last time that the JLPT happened here in the Philippines. I usually ask first if there's other foreigner who will be taking JLPT aside from Filipino. If yes, I will be using English or Japanese for them to understand. All the questions are possible before the exam, but once the exam started, you are not allowed to make any noise because there's a big probability for you to have a yellow card or red card, and you will be out from the exam room and you will not be able to continue the exam anymore. Another question that I usually get is, why is JLPT important? Is it worthy to take this exam? Definitely yes. This is a great start point when learning the Japanese language. It will help you master the language, whether you are just starting or looking for a way to measure your current competency in Japanese. Once you have this good foundation for this language, you'll definitely be better in other level of proficiency. For me as a Japanese speaker and working with Japanese, this JLPT is important. Our JLPT level matters more, mostly employers. In reality, this JLPT have become diverse these past few years. Most of JLPT passers use JLPT results as their skills measurement to include employment screening and evaluation for promotion and salary increase. If you take a higher level and you will able to pass that, definitely there's a big possibility that you can have that increase that you are wanting. So this JLPT is used as a qualification. I personally been with this. I was a trainee in Japan for 3 years, and while working there, I did my best to study the language. Primarily, reason is that so when I go back here in my country, I have this edge of having a high level of Japanese proficiency. Having a certificate will open up job opportunities such as teachers, translator. That was my first job after going back here in my country. Interpreter, customer service representative, or like me, I am now working in IT specialist in a international company and handling Japanese error to resolve. I am talking to Japanese, and also being a foreigner who speaks Japanese reflects not only our Japanese fluency, but comprehension of Japanese culture and etiquette. Those are the things that I see why there's so much test taker want to pass this exam and have a higher level of proficiency. I hope you have learned something on the topic that I've discussed. If you have any question, please don't hesitate to comment down below. See you again for my next video. Mata ne! If you are not yet subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe and click the notification bell so you will be updated every time I upload videos like this. No video mite koreta. Domo arigatou gozaimashita.